Welcome to Linux for the Rest of Us, episode number 74. The show about Linux. Yes, that operating system that you've heard of. I know you've heard of it. Don't tell me that you haven't. It's about Linux and what Linux can do for you. Linux news, Linux applications, Linux goodness for beginners, advanced, intermediate. So if you heard the word Linux, even if you haven't, this show is for you. So let me introduce the man who brings all the Linux goods and gives us all the news, updates, and content for the show. The man, Door-to-Door Geek, Steve McLaughlin. What is up, Door?
Hey, man. Well, I think, to follow up on last week, I found out that my personal hell is not going to end anytime soon.
Is this that hell you were talking about where people are asking you questions and then they want their data immediately and stuff like that?
Yeah, I was under the impression it lasted a couple weeks. And I was in a meeting yesterday where my manager said, this is the stuff we have in front of us, this. And then I saw a little side note that said, the legislative session runs from like January 7th through April 9th.
Wow. So it's going to be basically like that, like the same intensity the whole time?
I hope it doesn't get worse. I really don't. And honestly, this supervisor I have now, she is gold. Okay. She puts up with a lot of stuff. Granted, I do a lot of stuff, but still she puts up with a lot of stuff and she's gold. And I told her, I must have an epiphany for you that I do not know of because I'm not taking off days like I could. I'm actually here doing this crap, but I digress.
Well, you should just become a full-time podcaster. What can I say? And I'm sure everybody listening would agree. If you want Door to become a full-time podcaster, please send them $1,000 each and a letter of encouragement to mail or doortogeek@podnutz.com.
Yeah, you guys send me money, I'll remote into each one of your computers and set however you want.
Cool. What do you got for us this week?
Okay. Well, last week I had to cut a couple off because I had too many. So I'm going to try to go through some of them quicker, but first, the basic. Okay. This goes against a lot of history with other computer operating systems. Since Windows 3.0 kind of thing, it seems like and I can only speak about the Windows side. It seems like each and every version of Windows requires A, you to learn stuff all over again. B, for you to invest in either faster networking, faster processor, faster RAM, faster bus, faster hard drive, faster something to experience the same kind of reaction that you had from the last operating system. Now, granted, from Windows Vista, it was almost impossible to get heavier. Okay. That was like the one abnormality in the cycle of using Windows. Okay. In Linux, honestly, in the last 2 or 3 years, about 2 years, it seems like things have progressively, slowly got more heavy as well. I'm happy to say, because this is free open source software, someone out there decided to buck the system kind of thing. There is a new desktop available for Ubuntu-based derivatives. It's actually created by the guys over at Linux Mint, and it's called Cinnamon.
Ooh.
I first say, I like cinnamon.
I like cinnamon too.
I like it on waffles.
Smells nice.
Smells nice, yeah. And those Cinnabuns. Oh, okay. I stop. I will first say this is a uncommonly light desktop in comparison to other desktops you get with your operating system. Granted, after you install your operating system, you can install OpenBox, Fluxbox, all these other ones to make it lighter, but most of the defaults are pretty heavy. Cinnamon, in my opinion, tries to do everything it can to remain light and still give users an interface that at least they're accustomed to. And by that, I mean, it's much more similar to Windows 2000-esque type interface. You have a single bar on the bottom of your screen with your like start button launcher where you can type stuff in search. You have hot links on the left that are always there. Then you have your menus. Right besides that, you have a couple quick icons that you can add to or take from. And then right next to that, you have your Windows list of all your windows open. Keep going over. You have stuff like your volume, network status, and time. I just cannot reiterate enough how quick, how fast, how snappy this desktop is.
You're running Cinnamon right now?
Right there on that computer? Yes, I am.
Sweet.
As far as I can tell, I'm going to stick with it for a while. Now, the beautiful thing is, yes, this is a Linux Mint thing, but because Linux Mint people based their distro upon Ubuntu, it's kind of fair to say if you're running any derivative thereof Ubuntu, whether it be IQ Unix, Ubuntu itself, Ubuntu Ultimate Edition, Body, any of those kind of things, you can also load this desktop on there too.
So can I load? I'm running 11-10. Can I run Cinnamon? Install it and run it?
I'm running 11.10 on the computer that I'm using Skype with right now. And today I installed on it GNOME Shell, Classic GNOME, Cinnamon, and one other one that I can't remember right now. Cinnamon is, wow. I mean, everything loads tremendously quicker. I think because it is so light.
Wow, I got to check it out. So I could go into, I think I said 11-10. I meant 11.10. So I could go into the Software Center and just download it and install it?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I will make sure I have links in here to the proper form on installing it. It isn't via a PPA, which is normal. You basically have to add an extra repository to your list. It ain't super difficult, but I'll make sure there's a good step-by-step in the docs.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. So let me earmark that. Don't forget it. Okay. Don't forget. Okay. Now this thing, I gotta say just super quick. You've sat here and listened to me make up stuff kind of frequently. And by that, I don't mean, you know, I'm telling you a story about when I was a child and how I jumped off a bridge and I fell 300 feet, but I'm perfectly fine now. I make up stuff. I make up words.
Yes.
And it's because I have two things going in through my head at the same time. And it's like I take the first part of one word and the second part of another word and I combine them.
This is a skill. Well, this is a skill, by the way.
Okay. Well, there's a term for it. I finally found it. It's called portmanteau.
Portmanteau.
Portmanteau. Which is, and it says it is a blend of two or more words into a new word. Now, one that actually exists and people use is like the word smog. Smog was the words smoke and fog put together. So bam, you have the word fog. The only difference is I do it with words that aren't in the dictionary.
Let me see how they pronounce this. They have a pronunciation on the wiki.
Portmanteau. Portmanteau. Portmanteau.
I like her voice. Portmanteau is how you say it.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah.
Yep. So it's like Wikipedia is a wiki and a encyclopedia.
Right.
Hence Wikipedia. I can't think of any off the top of my head because I don't write them down. But, you know, at least there's a word for it now.
Portmanteau.
Yep.
Interesting. Good find, Dor.
Yep. Okay. Absolutely dead serious now, people. Dead, utter, dead serious. Okay.
So if you're smiling now, just stop.
Just stop. Real nice guy on Google Plus, Dick Plus. Strike that. Dick Thomas. That's what I really meant to say, Steve. Okay. I'm really trying to be serious here, Steve. That's not good for you to do that.
Sorry.
Okay. Dick Thomas sent me a link, or sent everybody a link, not just me, on Google Plus, and I cannot thank him enough. So that's why I'm mentioning his name and saying thank you on the podcast. Okay. We all better have known about what SOPA was and PIPA was, what it meant, what they were trying to do, kind of thing. Okay. In all reality, that was nothing. That was child's play. That was not that bad compared to ACTA, ACTA. ACTA has been going on a lot longer, and it's a lot worse. Number one, no one in any country where this is going to even have the option to vote on it. Okay? You cannot contact your congressman and say, hey, vote down ACTA. You know why? Because he can't vote on it.
Huh.
There is no voting on it. All that has to happen is this organization, of course, backed by the movie and the music industry, they go around, and they were doing this secretly for over 2 years now, going to different countries, fine-tuning their paperwork on how this is supposed to happen. Okay. I'll tell you the gist of one of the things about ACTA that's not cool. Okay. All I have to do is say, okay, that guy there, Dick Thomas, he's plagiarizing me. And the government and the ISP then puts a strike one on a database for his name. 3 weeks from now, I say, hey, that guy, Dick Thomas, he's plagiarizing me again. The government and the ISP put a strike two on him. And without any due process or anything, this happens, okay? And then if he gets a third strike on him, he is banned from the internet.
Jeez.
And when I say banned from the internet, I don't mean Comcast is now going to drop him and say, we can't give you service again. No. There's a national registry that no one can give him internet access again.
Wow.
Okay. That's evil. That's really evil. Okay. Now they are saying that there is going to be some kind of due process under certain circumstances kind of thing. That doesn't cut it in my book. Okay. Dick Thomas put out a link, because this is not a U.S. thing, okay? Other countries around the world are asked to sign this, okay? And if it is signed by the president or the prime minister or the leader of another country, whatever, that's all that has to happen. Once it is signed, it is law. There's no voting. There's no discussion. There's no negotiation. There is no veto. There is no nothing. If it's signed, it is law. Period. That's how a treaty works, and that's what this is. This is a treaty. So Canada, European Union, the Netherlands, Poland, the UK, and the US all have official sites up where you can sign the petition. If you click his link for the US, for instance, you go to whitehouse.gov. You don't go to, stoptheacta.com.
Right.
You go to whitehouse.gov. Now, they do ask you create an account. That's so they can at least try to ensure you don't have some geek writing a script, dinging this thing 18 times a second for 18 months. You know what I mean?
This is a pretty cool thing that we have, that you could go to the White House and create a petition.
Yeah, I will say this. I am not a fan of this administration whatsoever, but this is the kind of thing that at least makes me feel like they're not close to as bad as they could be.
Right.
I mean, this is cool. They're at least open enough to allow people to do this.
Sure.
So because of that, I'm a fan of it.
There's 26,050 signatures so far.
Yeah, well, I got 26,074 because I refresh a lot.
Damn, man.
Seriously, everybody needs to Google Plus this, put this on Twitter, put this on Facebook, and then a day or so later, do it again. And then a day or so later, do it again. And then a day or so later, do it again. This has so much potential to be a million times worse, because all it's going to take is somebody who doesn't like me to say he's stealing my content.